All right, we are going to terrorize this city. We're not stopping at stoplights. We're not stopping for cops. We're going to be causing chaos in the city of Atlanta. And it's all to raise money for men's mental health and prostate cancer. It's the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. All right, if you're a child of the 80s, then you'll probably heard the words, men don't cry, or something to that effect. Now, while you can take it as face value, what it really means to me, and what I took away from that statement was, bottle up your emotions, don't be vulnerable, things like that, which I think is a dangerous way to look at mental health. It's a good way to create some real toxic crap, and lo and behold, it created a lot of issues for me later in life. I myself have suffered with mental health problems, drug addiction, grief, things like that, anger management issues. It wasn't until later in life when I became a little bit better about addressing my feelings and my issues that I had. What I do like is that the generations that came after us seem to be a little more in tune with that part of them, and the stigma is becoming less and less. And that's one of the main focuses here at the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, but it's also to raise money for prostate cancer and things like that. I have attended this 3 years, participated 2. And one of the things I like most about it is the openness of which we talk about mental health and physical health, going to the doctor. As you can tell, there's a lot of people here, a lot of people are leaving. We just had a pretty decent ride through the city of Atlanta. It's very interesting to get a police escort through a city that usually takes me hours to go through and get through it in 30 minutes. So, I'm gonna rewind time a little bit. We're gonna go on a little ride around the city for a good cause.
The ride itself is fantastic. It's well put together, well organized, and while it does serve a fairly large purpose of being a spectacle and giving us a reason to all kind of do this and bring attention to this cause, it's not the main focus. Right, the main focus is bringing to light the problems that it intends to address. Namely, talking about your mental and physical health and taking care of yourself. And for me, that's very important. When my father passed away, I did the only thing that I knew how to do, and the only thing I was told to do, to just bottle it up. That's a very dangerous way to address any issue, especially ones that concern your mental health. It led to a cascading emotional failure that I carried with me until I was in my early 20s. I didn't have the skills or the mindset to help myself address the issues that I was experiencing through grief and depression and anger and sadness, because I was raised by people who didn't prioritize that. Thankfully, younger generations are a little bit more apt to express themselves and bring these mental issues to the surface. That's one of my favorite things about the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, is that it's trying to bring that self-awareness and help to the generations that, like myself, weren't given the necessary tools or the emotional space to express those things. and then get the help that we need. When I started addressing the issues that were causing me all of these problems, when I started talking about it, the weight was lifted off of me. When I started gaining the tools to deal with these problematic emotions that I was hiding from, things started getting better. And I spend a lot of my time now making sure that nobody questions how I'm feeling about a certain thing in my life. Some will see it as oversharing, and I get that, and feel free to red light, green light anytime I'm talking to you. But I will be as open as I possibly can, because I would rather somebody go, hey, that's too much for me, than to not know where I'm at mentally. The reason that I'm so drawn towards the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is because I truly believe that it's an important work to destigmatize and to continue the destigmatization. Being human and feeling things and working through them and leaning on other people for help in doing so. We ride around the city and it's this fantastic feeling of being paraded around in your fancy duds in the city. In most cases, they're excited to see you. And a lot of times it's, oh, what is this about? So it serves that purpose of being a spectacle and bringing attention to it. But like most things, what do you do when you have the attention on you? How do you use it? And they use it to bring to light the issues that have ruined generations of young men into being these toxic pressure chambers of emotions that are not being dealt with. There is a large part of this that is for the physical health, specifically for men's health, prostate cancer, and that can't be understated, the importance of. But for me, personally, my personal story, I really resonate with the mental health side of this. Motorcycles is a huge part of my mental health journey, and so it makes sense for me to hitch my horse to this wagon. As we ride through the city and we're waving at people, and you look in your rearview mirror and you see just an endless line of people riding for the same reason. The ride's cool. My favorite part is the in-between parts, though. It's the hanging out before and after and just talking with people and hanging out, and to know that we're all there for the same reason, which is to help raise money and help give people tools to deal with their problems and not be afraid to, for whatever reason, their personal reasons for being afraid to. DGR is one of the best put together rides that I've ever been on, but that only strengthens my resolve to support this organization. They care enough about the topic, the subject, to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible for not only the people involved, but the cities that they're in. This worldwide event happens every year, and it's one of my favorite parts of the year. This is my third time attending a DGR and my second time participating in the actual ride. It is now something that I will not miss. Every year it comes around, I am going to make sure that I notch out time wherever I am to be able to attend and participate in this, because I think that it's such an important organization doing such an important job of destigmatizing having human emotions and talking about it, listening to people's stories, telling your own stories, and raising money to help those that need it. It is a very notched out niche of a charity event, but it's one that I find very important and can get behind. I always enjoy going to these things and talking with everybody and meeting everybody. And it's the one time a year I can dress up fancy, and then I put the suit back in the closet and let it sit for another year. This year was kind of a turning point for me, and there's a lot of new stuff happening in my life, and I want to make sure that I'm on top of it when it comes to my mental health through this transitional phase, and talking with people and sharing my struggles and listening to other people share their struggles is just a small, simple way for me to remain grounded throughout this whole thing. It also is kind of a catalyst for wanting to do more, so I will be pushing a lot harder for fundraising for the next one. At the end of the day, a good ride for a good cause. I'm glad that younger generations are talking more about how they feel and how things affect them, and I like that that's bleeding in to the previous generations that were raised to stuff it all down. I'll see you guys next year.